Hey, aloha, Mark Januszewski, Laziest Networker out on the lanai here. Another blessing, getting to exchange ideas with great minds and network marketers. And one of my favorite things is women in network marketing because they cash 63% of the checks. So guys, pay attention. Learn how to talk to women. We have Kimmy, Everett, now Kimmy, Brooke, recently married.
Yep.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
In Hawaii, and you're originally from Oahu.
Yes.
Yes, and you're 4 or 5 generations?
Fifth generation.
Fifth generation. What does that feel like to see all these changes over here?
Well, it's inevitable, but it sometimes makes me a little bit sad. That's why we hopped over here to Kauai to get away from the hustle bustle of Oahu, and it's nice to get a little bit quieter, although it's pretty busy here too these days.
Yeah, no, that's quiet. Yeah, it's changing, and I understand you're looking at another island.
Yeah, we are. We fell in love with Lanai, where there's only 3,000 people. So.
Yeah. Well, we're on a lanai right now, and there's only 4 of us. Of course, 4 of us are network marketers. That's a lot of noise.
We take up a lot of room.
We take up a lot of room. I think what's interesting, your first attempt at network marketing, you were a single mom.
Yep.
Beautiful Haley.
Yep.
Yes.
Yeah, she was 11 years old at the time.
Still a comet.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Still a comet.
Still a comet.
Yep.
And you didn't do that well. You only built a group of 20,000 active distributors in 4 years with no experience. Shame on you. You know?
I know.
Were you a natural? How did it happen? Tell us, because I think it's really important. I think it's such a strong story where we have, single parents today. I was a single father. I ended up raising 2 kids by myself. And so was my wife. She was a single mom. And I don't think anybody really tells the story of what that was like.
Yeah.
You know, what were you feeling when you looked at network marketing, and what happened for you that you were able to just accelerate through the learning curve?
Well, really, it was my daughter. My daughter was the reason that I joined network marketing, and she was the reason that I was successful because I didn't have another option. So, rewind 6 years ago when I got introduced to network marketing by my sister. At that point in time, I was working 60 hours a week. I was solely responsible financially for my daughter. I was solely responsible for her as far as taking care of her. She lived with me full time. Right. And so I was pretty tired and grouchy, not a lot of fun to be around because I would wake up in the morning, we'd get to school. I was working at the school that she went to in the fundraising department. She'd go to school, I'd go to work. I'd work till 10 o'clock at night many nights. She'd sit on the floor of my office doing her homework. We'd go home, go to bed, wake up, do it all over again. Right. So, by the time the weekend came, I was just exhausted, and I was earning less money than my rent cost. So I was sinking further and further into debt. So I was just like on this crazy treadmill. Right. And so, when my sister introduced me to network marketing, for me, it was like, oh my gosh, if I could make an extra $500 a month, I could make my rent and then maybe not have to move in with my mom. And so I just thought, wow, this is the greatest thing I've ever been offered. And, knew nothing about it and got 2 fantastic tips. The first tip was to get on a call from the leader of our company. So, I didn't know any of the way things worked, how you get on a team call every week. And so at first I was like, that's a little weird getting on a call, but okay, I'll get on a call.
Yeah,
so,
what's this second number that I dial?
Yeah, exactly.
What's that? Like,
the code.
Yeah, what's that? Like tic-tac-toe box.
Yeah, exactly. So, I get on the call and I hear all these people saying where they're from, and I hear this guy welcoming everybody. He's got this real upbeat energy, and I was like, this is kind of interesting. And I was at my office, actually. I was not supposed to be on the call. And so I heard him talking on that call about the type of income he had earned. And honestly, I was thinking $500 a month, and he said he had made in that month $75,000. And I thought, I have landed on the mother lode. $75,000. I just remember vividly that day saying, if he's making $75,000 a month, I'm going to make $100,000 a month. And that was the way I started in the profession. Let
me stop you right there, and I'll tell you why. Because we were talking with Richard earlier, and the story, green light, red light.
Yeah.
I think for being a single mom, running out of money before you were running out of month, can you trace how you were able to do that? Because I was raising 2 kids on my own, and I was looking to make an extra $300 to cover rent.
Right.
So I was selling seafood. They changed the law. My income went down, and it didn't take a lot of math to figure out I'm going to be short. I need to make 300. And when I heard that people were making 10 and 20,000 a month, I almost quit because I didn't believe it. And I think this is a significant difference between women seem to aspire to believe that stuff or seem to have an easier time. And maybe I'm wrong, maybe it's just a small sampling. But can you take us through the dynamic? Have you always thought that way? You know, because I know if I heard 75,000 instead of 10, I probably would have been gone.
Well, I mean, it inspired me. It excited me. I didn't know that that was even a possibility. I was thinking, you know, some extra change along the way, not thousands and thousands of dollars. So when I heard that, I just said, I decided. So have I always thought that way? You know, I pretty much, when I decide to do something, I do it. If I put my mind to something when I was younger, I wanted to be an Olympic athlete, and so I became a diver. I didn't make it to the Olympics, but, you know, that was really my path, and I was committed to that. So I definitely have had this thing in my brain where when I want to make something happen, I just don't let things get in my way.
So you know the difference between a preference and a decision. When you make a decision,
yes,
that's it. You're going to go. I think the biggest regrets that we have in life are the things that we didn't do. I mean, we've all hurt people or been hurt or something like that, and we apologize or whatever. But the things that seem to stay are the things that we didn't try. And I think it's pretty clear, all the science is pretty clear on it, that decisive people tend to be successful, and indecisive people tend to be unsuccessful. Have you noticed that as you've grown these wonderful organizations to over 20,000 people?
Well, you know, at that time, I didn't really have a chance to be indecisive. I didn't have the time to be indecisive because I did not want my daughter to have to move out of our home into my mom's home. I did not want to have to, you know, there was just so many ramifications that would have affected her. So it really was, she was my driving force behind that decision.
Right.
And so I'm grateful for that. I'm grateful that she was there, her little face. I just saw it every single day as I woke up. Okay, this is for Haley. This is for Haley. You know, there was a lot of time I missed out on with her as a single mom. I didn't get to take the vacations that all of her friends' parents were taking them on.
Right.
You know, I was very fortunate to be working in a school. It's called Punahou School on Oahu, a very elite school, and she got to go there for free because I worked there. So the kids that she was surrounded with were very high status, high elite, you know, income. Yeah, so they're going off to Vail to go skiing or Europe for summertime, and, you know, we didn't have that. So I felt guilty, and I felt guilty too that I didn't even get to take Christmas vacation with her, and I didn't get to have summer vacation because I was at the office. I had to work. Right. So I just thought, you know what, enough. I'm done. I'm not doing this anymore. And so that really was what got me started.
So that desire.
It was just like a burning desire.
One of the things that Dave and I talk about and as we evolved in network marketing is called the hero's journey, where you have a life that you know, and you're called to do something else, right? And you have to step into the unknown. So stepping into network marketing is unknown. And what we've noticed over the years is the people that actually step into the unknown and go for it, there is something. And it doesn't really matter what it is, right? It could be a new car. It could be your daughter. It doesn't matter. In your case, it was family.
Yeah.
Right. And now, have you noticed as the years have rolled by, people come into your organization, would you say that that's a critical thing that is either there or not there in people? The ones that have the desire seem to find a way to make it. I always heard that the one thing winners know is that there's always a way. Once you know there's always a way. Yeah. But that all comes from that word decision.
Yeah.
Have you noticed, has that been a frustrating thing with people that you knew had the talent? Or I saw a lot of people with talent and need, but this isn't my story, this is yours.
Yeah.
Has it been frustrating for you to see people that have more than enough talent? Because let's face it, we've all been talking to people since we've been 2 years old.
Exactly.
I mean, that's all we do is talk to people.
I know.
Right? Hey, look at my stuff.
Right. Right.
You know, I think you might like this.
Hey, you want to play?
Exactly. Has that been a frustration for you? And you know, as people are building organizations, how do you deal with that? Is there any way that you have found to encourage people to make a decision or build that desire?
You know, I mean, it can be frustrating. I think that people get so caught up in their life and what's going on outside of the network marketing world because everybody has a lot going on, right? Mm-hmm. And so it's obvious when someone comes in with that burning desire. They're just ready to go, and they don't need much from me. They're ready to go, and they're on their way. So it's helping people to define what's important to them. And so that's a good conversation right in the beginning. And actually, when we get people started in the business, that's one of the first conversations we have. You know, what are the things that you'd like to do and have and become, and who do you want to celebrate your victories with, and why are you doing this? Why'd you get involved?
I love that. Who do you want to celebrate your victories with? I'm stealing that. I'll tell you why. One of the things that Dave and I have noticed over the years is most people, right, we moved past, you know, what's your why for doing the business, and I don't mean to be critical about that, but it needed to be a little bit deeper. You know, Dharma, what's your real purpose for being here? Because we started to notice people were right down a list of things they wanted, but to the trained eye, it was really a list of things that they didn't want. They wanted to get rid of their credit card. They want to get their old copy card. They say, what is it that you truly want? And I think nobody's going to pay off their credit card and get their car fixed and say, I want to celebrate this with my friends. So what a great spin on that.
Yep.
I think there's a significant difference between accomplishment and getting your credit cards paid off and getting a new wardrobe and all that if you need one. That's a nice accomplishment. But what do you want to achieve with your life? Is that the conversation that you have with them?
Exactly.
And how does that go, and how do you frame that for people so that they'll open up to you?
Well, it's interesting. I think that we're so programmed to not think big. We're programmed to just stay focused on the task at hand, that it's hard. It's a hard conversation for some people. So let's say, you know, oh, well, one conversation I had recently was, I want to leave a legacy for my kids. Okay, well, what does that look like? So it's about getting deeper than just the, you know, top line. It's like digging down and then having people, and really I got all of this from Richard's book, Mach 2, about vision work, because the more clear you are in what you want and having pictures to go with your sentences, the more it becomes real, right? So getting very deep into each statement that somebody makes, asking questions, like if somebody says, I want to buy a house, well, what kind of a house would that be? Where is it? How much does it cost? How long would that take you to get to that type of income? What kind of income would it be? You know, down to the color, the interior, the pillows, everything. And then even having them make, you know, a vision board of that, so that when they get up every day, kind of like my daughter, I didn't have an actual picture of her, but in my brain, it was burned, my daughter. She's my reason for doing this. She was my go-to. When I felt like not talking to somebody, I think about Haley. So for our people, when they feel like not getting up and following through with what they say they're going to do, simply reminding them about the things that the conversation we had. And, you know, we keep a file of all of that so that we can go back and refer. So it's not just a conversation. We actually keep track of it and touch bases with people about it.
Yeah, one of the things that we've talked about a lot, myself and my wife, and try to get people to understand. There's a great book called The Influencer. And you're intuitively so on it. I mean, how do you feel about this? That what great influencers do is they never talk about results. They talk about the next behavior. And in our business, like we were talking about at lunch, we're not running a 5-star resort.
We've got one behavior.
Yeah, we got one behavior. Let's talk to some people that aren't in the business, right? And that you link that to their core values. And it sounds like you intuitively do that, or you understand that. And how do you find that to be effective for people by trying to get them to make calls, by linking it to their behavior? Or have you moved away from that result? You can be, because of that, but make it more specific about their life because of what they shared with you.
Well, I think there's like a combination. You know, I think our approach in network marketing is just being authentic and real. And so the fear seems to be removed of going out and talking to people. When you talk to them about having a conversation with people, just like you said about when we're little and we're talking to people about, hey, here's my stuff, here's my toys. We invite people over to parties all the time. We invite people to go to dinner. We invite people to go to a movie. So when you break it down for people that there's no barrier or no difference really than just having a normal conversation, they seem to get it, and they feel free, instead of, oh, here, follow this script. You need to talk this way in a robotic voice. You know, no, just be yourself. Learn how to listen to people. And then, of course, the results of somebody coming back and being interested in just taking a look, then, you know, once they get those results, they're getting closer to their ultimate goal of the things that they'd like to become. So it all ties together.
So one of the things that I think is interesting is statistically it is accurate that women cash 63 or 64% of the checks in this industry. And what I really love about Richard, what he's done is he's surrounded himself with women.
He's a smart guy.
Which he's tried to
he loves that.
Yeah, he's tried to convince me was a corporate decision.
Oh, yeah.
But anyway, and I think that what you're doing right now for work, it's just wonderful to see some company finally gets it. And there's women running so many key roles. And how does that feel for you to see that finally starting
it feels
to
amazing.
emerge?
It feels amazing. And, you know, I think even, again, just tying it back to my daughter, to the next generation and setting an example for them of what's possible for us as women is so important for me. And, you know, I guess in a sense, I've kind of been lucky, even though I've had some hard hits, hard knocks in life. I've always been responsible for myself. I've always been the one who's had to show up and pay the bills. And so I've never relied on a man to take care of me. Right. And I'm grateful for that because it's allowed me to excel and not have an expectation of relying on somebody else to take care of me. So, you know, I think that women, when they get into our profession and they feel this empowerment and they see that they can do whatever they want here, it's like, it's so freeing and just so, it's so cool to see. You know, we were actually on a conversation last night with some other network marketers in another company talking about a similar thing. And I think that sometimes women, you know, we can be a little petty towards each other. And so really learning. Wow. Yeah, exactly. You don't really see the guys doing that. So if we learn to champion each other and really just support each other and rally each other and lock arms as women in the entire profession, not just, oh, my company, but really honoring everybody, it's just going to keep going up and up and up.
Well, one of my heroes, and always has been, is Mary Kay Ash. I mean, she built a $2.4 billion company basically with half the population that everybody else gets. And I just loved her idea, and I'm sensing that from you. It's like, why would we want equal pay? Let's make more than those guys.
Absolutely.
And I love that, and I'm sensing that. That absolutely was like Rocky Balboa. Absolutely. You know?
Yo, yo.
Yeah. So, what does that feel like? I mean, do you, when you're building with other women and all that, you know, what does it feel like for you? Because I think in today's culture, obviously not the case with you, but how do you bridge that gap? You know, women are taught, you know, you have to have kids, you have to have a career. If you work in your career, you're not a good mother. And by the way, you should be anorexic too. Right. I mean, and it's so ridiculous, the mixed messages. Yeah. If you just look at the pinup girls from 1940s. You know, they were healthy, like you. They looked healthy, like they looked great. Now it's like starve yourself to death, have kids, have a great career, but don't neglect either one, and you can't be two places at once. Do you find that that's a big barrier for you, or a place to go to work to try to help them crack that conditioning?
Yeah. Because it's a challenge, because we want to be there for our kids, which is a full-time job within itself, you know, so the guilt there takes over. The guilt of, oh, okay, you know, the husband is the one who's supposed to be the breadwinner, all that. So there's some challenges there. But I think that when women, especially women who are involved with a husband where they're on a short leash and they have an allowance, when they get access to their own income and they see, like, I can do this and I'm actually good at it and I'm actually better than the men, right. It's just a beautiful thing. So, but you know, it's taking some time. It's not going to all happen overnight.
Yeah. Is that a challenging thing, though, to get, do you find that? Because they're so great at the business. Yeah. They're better at it than men.
Well, we just love networking. We love multitasking. We're great at it all. You know, we like being in surroundings of social environment and thriving off of each other's stories. So it's just a natural fit for us. Right. So I just think that, you know, this profession seems to have been dominated by male leaders in the past, but it's definitely changing. You know, you look around today and you see many more women doing very well, being at the top of their companies, coming out, speaking just beautifully. So it's just like this, it's a fine balance. But you know what? I love working with men too. So I'm not, you know, burn your bra type of gal.
Yeah,
I really love the balance of both. And it's so fun. And you know what's so fun for me is leading men and having men be excited to be led by a woman. It's just so cool that they don't feel intimidated, but they enjoy having me as their leader too.
Well, you know, it's the way we're designed. men will follow women. Women aren't necessarily going to follow men. So guys, get some women in your organization. Listen to what this woman's telling you. And I'm going to give you a tip myself, okay? When they telling you how they feel, don't say, I know what you mean, and tell them how to fix it. Just say, can you tell me a little bit more about that? Okay? Don't try to... My wife's laughing over here, right? It worked on you. But anyway, you know, learn how to talk, share, and identify with their challenges, because they're going to drive your organization, and people are going to be attracted to people that are breaking through traditional roles without sacrificing any of those roles. I don't know how you feel about this. I really want to know. Is that my wife was a single mom and was trying to balance everything. Yeah. And we talked about the fact that, you know, let's quit lying to ourselves. And when I was talking with Richard earlier, he talked about not lying to yourself. But it started talking about the idea there's 168 hours in the week. I'm going to give you 8 a night. That's 56. I'm going to give you 50 to work, right? That's 106. I'm going to give you 20 for Murphy's Law, worship, and shopping. And the final analysis is we're all left with about 30 hours, and the rest of it's all a lie. That covers worship, errands, work, and sleeping 8 hours a night. Right. Okay? And so you have these 30 hours, and one of the conversations that Dave and I had, I said, you know, you keep saying you want this stuff for your kids. If you go for it yourself, they will have a life second to none, because you'll be showing them an example of, rather than helping the next generation, of taking care of yourself now. And one of them just pulled up, and man, they're all over the place. They're independent thinkers. Has that happened for you and Haley, that you went for it, that she just is more of a risk taker, or willing, or open? Have you seen that?
I mean, definitely me getting involved in network marketing completely shifted the way that our dynamic, because all of a sudden I was able to spend more quality time with her. It doesn't mean I was able to spend more time with her, because I was very busy actively building my organization, right. But the time we had together and have together is quality time. She also decided to begin building on her own too, so really stepped into a role of a leader herself. And so, yeah, I mean, network marketing for her has just opened her eyes to a totally different way of thinking. Now, she is going off to college, but, you know, I'm telling her in college, just become a master networker, meet as many people as you can, get the education that, you know, she wants to be going to college. That's fine with me.
I know they don't call it this anymore, but the best advice for someone going to college, they get it too late. And since she's going, build that Rolodex.
Exactly. That's like the primary.
You see the conviction in her? Exactly. I love that.
Well, I got to say, hey, you know what? Some of my best builders were my college buddies, people I met in college. So it is a great tool in network marketing as you get out of school. Yeah.
So you just tapped into two of my favorites, which is how I got my cousin Barbara in the business after 4 failed attempts. Hey, I just found out how moms can make more money part-time at home than their husbands do full-time. Right. And the other one for Haley at school is, hey, I just found out how students can make more money part-time than our professors do full-time. You know,
that's a good one.
That's a good one. So we always end these interviews. Thank you for your insights and encouragement about women. I love the conviction in your voice. It's just there. You just have to believe her, because she's telling the truth, right? It's got the ring of truth. We basically like to ask a little handful of questions, just, you know, impromptu.
Alrighty.
So your favorite sound?
Oh, my favorite sound is, I don't know the name of the bird that when you wake up in Hawaii, it just goes, croo, croo. Do you guys know the name of that bird? That's my favorite sound in the world. You don't hear it anywhere else but Hawaii.
I know that sound. It's the same one that's in the ATM machine. Your least favorite sound?
Ooh, screaming, like chalk on an
your favorite word?
Love.
Love. Nice. Nice. And your least favorite word?
Try.
So you must be a Yoda fan, right? Do or do not do. There is no try. It's really interesting. Your handsome husband is about keeping his word. You know, keep your word, right? Think before you give it, but once you give it, keep it at all costs. Occupation that you might like to try? I know you love network marketing, but just if there was anything else that you'd like to try.
I would love to be a Joni Mitchell singer. That would be amazing. Unfortunately, I don't have the vocals.
Yeah, well, you and I are reduced to making symphonies of our life.
Yes.
Right? Okay. And any occupation that you wouldn't want to try under any circumstances.
Yes, and actually I heard Richard sharing his, and it's the same for me. I just could never be a doctor. I don't do well with blood. I could never be a doctor.
Okay. What turns you on?
What turns me on? Well, there's a lot of things that turn me on. Surfing, love the ocean. I love seeing people having success and coming into their greatness. I would say that's probably the biggest for me. Yeah. Watching people
watching the light go on. Yeah. You know what I love is when you teach somebody something, you share it with them, right?
Yeah, but we weren't asking you.
That's okay. Don't you love her?
Just chime in there.
I love this. You teach them something, they get it, and then about 3 or 4 weeks later, you see them teaching it like they invented it.
Yeah.
And a little tear rolls down your eye because the leader's born and you don't have to do it anymore. What turns you off?
Ooh, kind of the glass half empty Eeyores of the world.
Eeyore.
Yeah.
That's a good one.
Favorite cuss word?
Oh, well, he didn't say his, but I'll say it because I love saying it. It's That's
what I'm talking about.
Finally.
The scent of a woman.
Yeah.
And if heaven exists, what would you like to say here at the pearly gates?
I think it would be come play with all the people who you love, who are up here. Yep.
Fantastic. Thank you so much for so much of your time and insight.
Thank you so much.
Women can do. Get them in your group.
Women
Make
do
it happen.
do.
That's right.
Women do.
Yes.
That's right. We don't like can or try. Do. I love that. I learned so much today. All right. Peace out.